Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to talk about the Gaze of Sithis set. This is pretty much like the second most looked after new Mythic item with the Blackwood launch. Like everybody wanted this. Mostly for PvP, but it also has some PvE applications. As you can see, 3276 max health, 1k health recovery and 4k armor. For a one-piece set, like this is nuts. However, there's one downside. Reduces your block mitigation to 0. Basically, you can't block anymore. And before we get any further, where do the leads drop? On ESO-hub.com. You can find all the leads. I will put the link in the description. Glass Skeletal Visage drops in Blackwood in the public dungeon. Not that big of a deal. Should drop fairly fast. Then the Niswu Sacramental Rubs. Deshan, public dungeon. Same thing. Shouldn't be too hard to get. And the Patsar Shark Teeth in Shadowfen in a delve. Now, the biggest pain to actually get is the Preserved Rexu Feathers. You need to get this stuff in Outlaw Refugee, and you can only get it if you have the Shadowy Supplier passive. What do you need to do to get this? You need Dark Brotherhood skill line rank 4. So why do you need this? If you have this perk active and you enter an Outlaw Refugee, an NPC will be present called Remain Silent. If you don't have the perk, she will not be there. If you have the perk, she will be there. And then you can probably select any of the options, but I usually use have any equipment today, and she will give you free equipment and the lead. However, it's not 100% drop chance. Some people took like 10 tries. For me, it dropped on the second try. Now it is annoying because there is a 20-hour cooldown. So if it takes you 10 tries, it's 10 times 20 hours pretty much. You obviously can do this on several characters, but for example, I only had Dark Brotherhood leveled up on one character. That's it, right? So yeah. A little bit of pain in the ass to get, but yeah. Anyway, Ritual Circlet, Cradle of Shadows, Last Boss. You can do this in normal mode, not too big of a deal. So the set overall is very juicy, especially for PvP. I do like it on my dodge roll monkey build. It's pretty much the assassin, where I use like Eternal Hunt and Spriggans in combination with Balorg. I like to play Nightblade like this. The Eternal Hunt set is just so much fun. And if you learn how to play with this, you can actually trick people quite a bit. Now, I usually use 2 Balorg just to get even more damage. However, if you want to use a Gaze of Sithis, you can just replace the headpiece and you're done. One piece Balorg is also good. Of course, you can use any other monster set. There is a lot of good monster sets. All of them, you can also find all of them here. That have like one piece bonuses that are like useful. Even stamina recovery if you need more. Max stem, max magicka. There's plenty of stuff. Penetration and so on. Now when we look at the stats, so right now with this setup I have like 26k health, 11k resistance unbuffed and like 1k health recovery. And when I use the helmet I'm at 31k health, 2.2k health recovery, this is insane, and 16k resistance unbuffed. Now if I fully buff up, well, pretty much fully. 2.8k health recovery, 3.3k stem rec. And like 22k resistance. That's why this thing is so juicy. Blocking won't be useful anymore. But with this setup, I'm a dodge roll monkey anyway. I dodge roll constantly and I use cloak. So I don't really block that much, if at all. This of course works on other setups as well. For example, could also slap this on the Sork build instead like of a monster set that annoys enemies. You could just run one Gaze of Sithis. Because on the Max Sork, I barely block, I just spam shields 24/7. And having a lot of extra health will boost the shield size even more. And I will have way more armor and health recovery. Like, it's just insane stats. You could also use this setup on like the 1-bar Max Orc for PV. It would work flawlessly, pretty much. Instead of Swarm Mother one piece, you can just use a Gaze of Sithis. The 1-bar build, most people that use this are probably newer. They don't know when to block enemy attacks because they're busy with other stuff. So it's pretty much the perfect alternative because it just boosts your health, health recovery and so on by a crazy amount. Let me actually see. Could combine this with Bevish Sugar Skulls because the Bevish Sugar Skulls also has health recovery. Here on this setup, I do use Arteum Takeaway Broth, which gives me another 406 health recovery. If we use... Let me actually see, do I have Dubious with me? Yeah. If you use Dubious, the health recovery drops quite a bit, but it's still good. Because Arteum is ultimately better, however, it's like you probably need to sell a kidney to be able to afford these buff foods. But this one has extra health recovery, so it boosts it even more. The set isn't easy to use, the mythic item, but if you know how to play around it, it's definitely worth using. I would recommend farming this if possible. Like I said, it's not too hard, it's just that one lead that is a little bit a pain in the ass to get. You can find all other mythic items as well on the DLC page. I will link that one in the description as well. All the guides are listed up, all the new sets. We do have locations for pretty much all the mythic items here. Like the Harpooner's Waiting Kilt is also a very popular one. All the locations do have maps. And so on. It's all here. Let me know in the comment section below what you actually think about this set. Is it useful? Have you used it on any PvP or PvE set yet? Would be great to know. It also kind of looks hilarious. Make sure to check out ESO-hub.com. You can find pretty much anything important here. We're constantly adding more content. Right now we are working on adding like the Antiquity overview page and adding all that stuff. The champion points section is already updated. We optimized the editor a little bit more, calculator, so you can actually see where the perks are, easier to find things. There's a whole lot of companion guides around, pretty cool. We have all the gear, the traits, leveling guides and so on. All the skills from the companions, it's all here. For builds, make sure to check out alcasthq.com. There's solo builds, group builds, companion builds, and a lot of beginner guides as well. Do recommend telling your friends that just started the games. There's a lot of guides, useful guides on here. I do have like a lot of social media things like Twitter, Facebook. We do have a Discord community server that you can join and so on. Links all in the description. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. Cheers.